Hello, gals and guys, and those that don't identify. How are you today? I have been on a bit of an emotional roller coaster today, but I'm great. Always great. Always great to wake up. Always great to have free air to breathe. Lord knows they want us to pay for it. Always, whew, just always grateful and thankful. But sometimes I can be a bitter, let's just call her a bitter bee. Not a better bee, not a butter bee, but a bitter bee. A bitter bee with a bit of batter and a butter. You hear me? Just a bitter bee. And I was a little bitter bee today. And I found myself feeling helpless and hopeless. And I don't like when I feel that way because I give in to a power of weaklessness and helplessness, right? And I don't like that power because I know I'm not weak, nor am I helpless. Sometimes I'm weak. Shit, I was weak early. I was crying. It was necessary. It felt good. I felt like I was prettier after the cry. Like, girls, if you understand what I mean, like, comment yes. Okay? Prettier after a cry. So, no shame. It was needed. But it's when you like get through that pain, right? Or when you get through anything that's causing you some type of like mental, right? When I'm like mental, I just realized like right after that cry, like maybe not immediately after, because what was me immediately after, but soon after the cry, it was clear. It was clear. It dawned on me, B, you gonna be okay. This is just like so many other times before. And you were always okay. You've been okay. You're gonna be alright. You'll be alright. You'll be alright. What are you worried about? We gonna figure this out together. Booskies? We are. So I wanted to tell y'all about me today on this episode. And this episode is CrissTen at it again. I'm sorry. That was kind of aggressive. I feel like sometimes I can be aggressive, like inappropriately so. Like, so you just have to forgive me. You just have to let me I'm just grow on, like a mole on your face. It should be like, this not a mole. This actually probably skin cancer from the fucking sun, but still, I'm like that, right? So we together. We together on this is what I'm saying. We together. It's me and you. It's me and you. And I love to sing, but I really can't sing. But it's your problem now. Ooh, I told y'all I can't sing. Okay, I won't do that to y'all. Just to my own family, because I gotta do it to somebody. Somebody gotta get it. But you guys, I just wanna introduce you to CrissTen. AKA Chrissy Baby, AKA Chrissy Joe, AKA Crystalis, AKA Crystal. The name I was given when I was born, Crystal. But Chrissy just sounds fun, right? She sounds funner, so I went with Chrissy. That's what I did. I changed. Gave me a nickname. I like giving nicknames, first of all. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I like giving nicknames, right? Born in Southeast, raised in Northwest, further in Northeast, and that's where I left from Northeast. So, from the whole DC, I do many things. It's so crazy, like, my husband always tells me that I never talk about myself, and as I'm sitting here trying to talk about myself, I realize, damn, you really don't talk about yourself, because it's like, what is the talk? Like, what we gonna talk about? Are we doing this or nah? That's who I am. You want to know who I am? I'm the chick that's about that action. I like to make a plan. I like to talk about how we gonna get it done. And then I like to go and do it, whatever it may be. I don't really give a shit as long as it's progressing me towards something positive. I did the negative shit. I done that, been there. I came up in a rough area. I came up doing stupid stuff, seeing stupid shit being done. I was no different. But I wanted more. I got out of that lifestyle. I got out of that mindset. But yeah, I'm from Washington D.C. and it's a little rough. It's a little rough over there. It's a little rough. You know, our form of loving each other is what we call joning. What New York is called playing in dozens, I think. I forgot what people from the Bay call it. My husband's from the Bay. But just like cracking jokes with each other, like on each other and with each other, right? Just going back and forth. And it's like, it could be hurtful, but we were doing it in a way as to like almost teaching your kid how to fight, how to box, or how to do whatever, which we were also taught how to fight, not so much giving lessons as so much take your ass outside and fight that little girl that just came to this house talking about she wanted to see you. That type of situation. So, born in 1980, so yeah. I'm quiet, but I talk a lot. I love writing. I found out that I liked writing when I was 19 years old. I did not have anything that I felt like was mine or anything that represented me and who I was. But when I was 19 years old, I moved into my first apartment with a guy. Yeah, because I just couldn't afford rent by myself, even though the rent wasn't really that high now looking back at it. But, I was young. I didn't want to be by myself, but I wanted to be a grown up, So we get this apartment and, I'm so comfortable within it. I'm getting furniture and everything. I'm working. I'm feeling independent. I'm feeling all grown and sassy, right? So the guy that I was with, he was like a poet and rapper himself, even though he was not a good rapper. He made me realize, because I always sung rap, like literally all my life. I knew all the rap songs growing up. My sister, she's a singer. She knew all the songs, so she could tell me the lyrics to the songs. And, I can explain the lyrics of the raps to her. So even though she knew those lyrics, but I felt like I just understood them because I'm a little bit older, So, yeah, I'm growing up in Washington, D.C., 19 years old, first apartment. I got it fully furnished, and, he's rapping, and I'm listening to him thinking, like, or wondering or feeling, I don't know. It was like a feeling, I guess, like my stomach starts to churn, and I can just feel things within me, and I can feel, the possibilities. I can feel my capabilities. I can feel, the people around me and, what they're feeling and what they're possibly thinking. Maybe not to the T what they're thinking, but I feel like I'm always in a ballpark, just like I'm always in a ballpark when I'm telling the time, or when, and I don't have a watch, but somehow I know what time it is within most of the time, the half hour, if I'm actually truly, concerned about the time, and I don't have if I'm just BSing, I'll probably be off the mark. Just thinking to myself, I think I can do this, right? I love rapping so much. I think I can do it, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I had been writing some poems before I met him, because that's how he got me interested in him, through his poetry. And I think I had already been writing a little bit, just kind of fishing, seeing, getting things out of your mind. You know how you do when you're a teenager, you're getting things out of your head, trying to sort it all out, right? Yeah, so it's like thinking back to 20 something years is kind of wild when you like try to think about things like step by step. But so I'm 19, I start thinking to myself, this guy seems, like he really doesn't even, try to put anything real into what he's saying when he raps. And inside of me, there's so many words I want to put together. I've always been a smart ass. Okay, I guess I should say that. I've always been a smart ass. And in my opinion, I was raised in the 80s, right? So everybody always making you feel belittled, because, of course we come from, a tough world where, people love to make black people the villain, because everybody loves to have a villain in their stories, and everybody is living their own story and on their own journey. So, I mean, unfortunately, we have a very low outlook about ourselves and our community and our people. So, you know, in the 80s and even still now, you know, it's a lot of parents calling their kids' name and saying things to their kids, making them feel belittled and everything. Because honestly, I don't think I was a smart ass, because now I just see myself as being very, very cunning, very, very charming with my words, very much a seeker of knowledge, and very, very at the heart of it, wanting and needing, more so than wanting, needing to understand things behind all the drapes and the mirrors and the fog. You know, I need to know the roots of a thing, because, you know, that's where the truth of everything lies, at its root. And I'm a truth seeker, I'm a truth bringer, so I'm a truth finder. I don't even think I'm a truth seeker. I think truth literally finds me. So not necessarily a smart ass, a person that loves words, a person that loves to be charming and cunning and put words together in a way that only I could, that only I understood them, right? That's what makes a rapper a rapper. That's what makes us attracted to them, because of their wordplay, because of their, you know, finesse with their understanding of things and how they put it together and how they see it and how they bring it to us and how it makes us feel. And I was feeling all that inside of me, so I started writing, and I became pretty good at it. Like, my spirit, like my gut told me that I was, and I became good at it, and it became my thing, and I became obsessed with it. And even still to this day, I'm a bit obsessed with writing. You know, I've expanded to writing more than just lyrics and poems, but even still, you know, I have to write. You know, that is something that is a must for me. So that is something for you to know. So yeah, 19, find out I can rap, my first apartment. I have 3 kids. So at that point, I had my first kid, my first son. He was maybe 2 or 3. I had him at 17. I gave birth to him at 17, and I was 19, so he was 2 years old. So that was a fun time, because his dad was, you know, he had so much potential as a person, and, you know, we were always really great friends before we ended up being lovers or anything, right? So we maintained that good friendship even after. So we were really good co-parents, in my opinion, back then. So it made a lot of things very easy, and it was awesome. So that's me as a teenager. Well, when I'm, you know, the apartment that I had, I ended up losing it. Moved back to Brentwood, the neighborhood that I come from, Brentwood, Saratoga Avenue, Northeast Washington, D.C. Ended up hooking up with a guy that was a musician in the neighborhood. We had known of each other for a while, you know, so you know how that goes. You hook up with a guy, one thing leads to the next, and, you know, you end up pregnant. Yeah, that. I ended up pregnant with my second child, and I think, I was 21 when I gave birth to her. So yeah, didn't stay with it. We were never together. We were just hooking up. So, but we were dreaming together. So that's what was important about the reason why, you know, the birth of my daughter, it was special, and it was weird in ways, because I always felt like I never wanted to give birth to a girl, because of how people made me feel like I was such a bad girl growing up. And I really did believe that story about myself, right? That's why I'm always about, like, asking yourself, do you agree, or who told you the story about yourself that you believe? Who told you these things that you believe about yourself, about the world, about this and about that? Who told you? Where did those stories come from? Where did that knowledge come from? Because if it came from someone other than yourself, like, I really feel like questions should be asked, because we hold on to so much trauma because of these stories that's been given to us since we were born, all our life. You were so bad. Take your little bad ass, take your little fast ass, get your little hot ass out here, get your little always this ass and always that ass, and it's making you feel like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I'm a kid, honestly. Seriously, what could I have possibly done to make me all these asses? But You know, again, back then, you know, people were so much more ignorant, and honestly, they still are, in my opinion. I feel like we're getting further away from ignorance and more towards intelligence sometimes, but then sometimes I just feel like we're totally backsliding. But that's neither here nor there. That's a whole different video. Didn't want to have a daughter, right? Because of all these traumas that I still was facing. But I ended up having a daughter at 21. And for the first year of her life, I had to be in jail. And I was a breastfeeding mom. So I was a proud, you know, I like to live towards nature. You know, lean towards nature more than anything, because nature is what really nurtures us. And so I didn't have my kids natural. I had them all with the epidural because I was totally fucking uneducated as well. I had no idea about natural birth. You know, epidural, when you give birth, is what the only thing I've ever heard. And back then, I did not seek that type of knowledge. The only thing I was seeking is child, just trying to survive, period. That's what I did at 21, trying to survive. So although breastfeeding was something that I knew I wanted to do, because I knew it was something that's what they were for, I finally understood, like, okay, what these freaking lumps and mounds are actually for, not just like to attract guys. Because honestly, growing up, I didn't even have any, so I always felt super self-conscious about the way my chest was, and the way my body was in general. I was always so thin. And you know, again, because growing up, people made me feel fucking awkward as hell, calling me like all types of crackheads. So it made feeling skinny, being skinny, like a fucking awkward thing. And it's so wild, because once I got older and I realized people literally got paid millions of dollars just to be skinny, I was like, fuck you fuckers, like, you assholes. How dare you make me feel a sort of way? But again, shit just be traumatizing you in small fucking increments, and you don't even be realizing, because again, we were taught to joan on each other, so this shit just is always funny. You know, my sense of humor is like top notch because of all of these fucking traumas. And now it's like, when comedians talk about like the pain that they're actually in when they're not telling jokes, I just sit there and just, my heart just feels so heavy, and just like, I fucking get it. Surviving is fucking hard, and like, if you don't laugh shit away, like, you will fucking drown. Like, I feel like laughter is how we fucking float, like how we swim out here, like our laughter, because laughter fills up your lungs. I don't fucking know, fills it, like loses it, I don't fucking know. I might be making some shit up, but it do something. It feels good, bitch. That's what it do. It feels good in my lungs. So that's what's helping me swim, my laughter. Okay, we just gonna say that, because that's how I'm out here swimming. Like, I'm just fucking taking this shit in and just laughing at it, right? And it's keeping me, my ass over the waters. Like, I'm out here, out this bitch, out here. I got that thick coming. I started gaining weight when I turned 41. I just be feeling sexy, thick, like a woman should. Ooh, I be feeling like Kiki. Kiki thinks she cute because she knows she is. I be feeling like Kiki Palmer, honey. Yes. My thickums has finally come. My turn is finally here. I'ma make them eat this cake. Cake. I have no freaking idea what I was about to say there, but so I had a daughter, and I held on to those whole, you know, those precursors, or those feelings of how I, you know, would never wanted a daughter, ultimately because of fear that I would abuse her, because of how I was abused, because I was taught, you know, I kind of didn't like girls because of how, you know, I was raised to kind of hate myself. So, and I'm a girl, so that makes sense, right? I just didn't want a girl. I just knew something very deeply, innately inside me just knew I would do some fuck shit to my daughter. And that's exactly what I did. And it's wild, because I didn't even see where it all was going wrong. It's so many things that transpire because it happened in a 15-year period of me raising her. And by the time she was 8, I ended up having my third child, which was another boy. So she became the middle child. And Lord knows, I know about the middle child, honey. I am a middle child. So there's that. It just was like, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. I had a lot to learn. We had a lot to learn. It got very messy. I'll go into deeper details in the future, but me and my daughter, you know, ended up being separated by the time she was 15. The guy that I was with, I met him soon after I got out of jail. I was in jail for 11 months, got out of jail, met him a few months after. Then met another guy in college who ended up being my best friend, a gay guy. But yeah, the guy that was my partner, you know, I met him when my daughter was she wasn't even 2 years old yet. She was a year and a half. And he was basically like a father to her because, again, the guy that I got pregnant with, you know, he was a musician, and musicians can be a little out there, you know, with their life and their feelings and their choices. And he was no different. He was kind of out there. He was the lead singer of a rock band, so he sung rock music and he wrote rock music. Convinced me to write my first rock song while I was in jail, no less. That's where it happened. But yeah, he kind of fell off. I guess that's me and the guy that was basically stepfather to her, we fell off, and their relationship ended up falling apart. So, like I said, a lot of things transpired to, you know, give way to the tumultuous relationship that me and my daughter ended up having. And that became a big part. The reason why I'm telling you all this is because that became a big part of my identity, knowing that I was always so angry and about so many things that I ended up being an abusive parent to my daughter, of all people. I mean, not that I wanted to be an abusive parent to my other kids. I realized it sounded like that, but jokes, right? Comedy. To deal and to heal. Truly. So much anger and pain. And then my mom, she passed away when I was 14. So I was angry about that. Angry that, you know, she was a drug addict, I think most of my life. I don't know. But all of it from what I can recall. So she died when I was 14. So angry about that. Angry that, like, she married the guy she married. Angry just like she raised us the way she did. You know, we were really poor. We lived in a 1-bedroom house, which is really weird, you know, because right now it's 4 of us living in a 1-bedroom apartment, even though this apartment is still much nicer than the room that we grew up in. We lived in a fucking room in a rooming house. So, but it was a great experience. It was so many. My mother was friends with all of the transvestite men, which I don't think we called them transvestites back then. I think they were just called drag queens. Grew up very, very queer. That's why I'm still very, very queer. Always have been, always will be. You know, it just is what it is. Yeah. Wild. Grew up in a 1-bedroom, and now me and my kids are in a 1-bedroom, you know, because it just has to be that way right now. It really does. There's really no other way for it to be. But anyway, we're gonna figure this out together. Listen, when I say this to you, when I tell you all that we are going to get through this together, those are not just words that I be putting together, baby. Those words be coming deep from my spirit. Deep. Everything I say, everything, because it's time to stop hiding. It's time to stop hiding. It's time to stop denying it. It's time to stop running. It's time to stop giving a fuck. It's time to just stop. It's just time to stop. So I decided I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right here, and I'm gonna come back tomorrow. Y'all, we're gonna get through this together. We are. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out together. And we're gonna make it through. No matter what's happening in the world, don't pay attention to it. That's what they want you to do. It seems real scary out here. I know it does. But it's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure this out together.